Meeting to order. Dennis, would you lead us in the flag?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Tammy, will you take us through roll call?
Yes, I will. Those present are Council Members Roth, Arnbrister, and McVeigh. Mayor Pro Tem Kemp. Staff present is myself, Tammy Justice, City Attorney, Utility Clerk, City Engineer, Public Works Supervisor in Training, City Planner, Captain Watkins. And excused tonight is Bob Shaw, the Mayor, and Maureen Baker.
Thank you. Need a motion for approval of the agenda?
Move approval of the agenda. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for approval of the agenda. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Pass 4-0. Okay.
I move
Motion.
to approve the consent agenda to include April 23rd, 2024 claim vouchers 8114 through 8121, 2 EFTs in the amount of $12,897.09. April 9 meeting minutes, May 12, 2024 claim vouchers 8129 through 8145, and 5 EFTs in the amount of $23,150.14. April payroll in the amount of $41,034.98. And the March and April treasury reports, which have both been audited and approved by the audit committee.
Hear a second? Motion's been read and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0. Okay, next up on the agenda is public comments.
Amy, did you want to sign up for public comment tonight or no? No? Okay.
Okay. So we have Barbie Profit. Profit, okay. And you have 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just do it. I'll just read what I have and then that's what's left over. Okay, so my name is Barbie Profit. I am a citizen of Rainier. I graduated a while ago from Rainier High School. I've always considered Rainier my hometown. And I always lived kind of on the outskirts in the county, so I didn't really have any happenings with the city of Rainier. I did sell my house and moved into the town of the city of Rainier, whatever. But I bought a place up there on Toronto Downs, and I now have a water bill, and I have been paying that faithfully. I moved in December of 2022. So, I did get in April, I got a yellow slip. It kind of looked like this, in case anybody's got some scribbling on it, but that's what it looked like. And it basically said that I was delinquent and there was a termination notice. It was dated 4/16, and it was dated because they hadn't received, the due date is April 15th, and they hadn't received a check that I sent in the mail. I called and I spoke with someone about the bill and asked if they received the payment, and they said they had received it. And I said, oh, good, that's great. Can you go ahead and reverse the penalty, the $15 penalty? And they said, oh, no, we don't do that. And I said, oh. I mailed it in time. They said, well, you have to mail the check within 7 to 10 business days. I said, okay, well, I called my bank, and I had initiated the payment on December 3rd, in plenty of time for that 7 to 10 business days. However, the bill wasn't due until the 15th, and so I authorized it to be received on the 10th. And so when I called back with that information, that additional information, I was told that, well, too bad. We are not allowed to reverse it. We don't have the authority to reverse the charge. That's incorrectly. Even if we could, we can't. And we don't know whether your bank sent it or not. And they gave some other things, but I thought, well, then let me speak to your manager or your supervisor. And they're like, well, I don't know really what they said with that part, but what I do recall is that there is no waiver. There there is no appeal process. And so I asked if I could come down, and I said, well, that's crazy, because if I'm overcharged, in America, you have the right for a due process, and the city of Rainier doesn't have a due process. So I'm here today to try to figure out why there is not a due process for me when I proved that I mailed it timely, and plenty of time, even by their standards, to get to them in time. There's always gonna be situations where the mail's gonna be wrong. But I happen to know that most government entities do have a waiver process, and they do have a appeal process. And,
Time's up.
oh,
Sorry.
shoot.
Okay, council can't comment on things as public comments. We take it into consideration at a later time, okay?
I was told to come here.
Right. So it's been received by council.
Okay, what happens next?
Well, if council decide if they want to put it on the agenda, and then we can discuss it.
Okay,
But that will be at a later date, okay? Not tonight.
okay.
Thank you. Anybody else with a comment?
No.
All right, moving along, staff report. Well, let's go ahead and start with Darren.
Awesome. So, Public Works has been super busy. We have read all water meters in town. We put out shut-off notices and shut off, I believe there were 7 people shut off for non-payment. We had 23 utility locates. Been working on 2 trailers that we haul the zero-turn lawnmowers around in, putting new decks on them because the metal gets bent with the heavy mowers, so we've been working on putting some plywood decking on them. Keeping up on our routine water system, well checks, park checks. Some of that is daily, some of that is weekly. Had 7 calls for animal control. One of them were fortunate enough to pick up a dog and get it reunited with its owner real timely, so we didn't have to impound that. Currently working on spraying weeds in the right of way around town. Trying to do that early in the morning before the wind picks up. I did 3 days of utility management certification training to prepare me for my new position. Got a class coming up for, we have to do a lead service line inventory for all the customers in town through the EPA, and so I have a class coming up for that. We have pressure washed and cleaned up Vets Park. We'll be putting the flags up here in anticipation for Armed Forces Day. We have done a crazy amount of mowing and still working on that. Paul and I have switched 2 weeks ago to a 4-10 schedule throughout the summer. I think we're going to be more productive with that throughout the summer because by the time we load up the equipment and go out, we just got more hours to continue mowing and whatnot. So for those that are interested, I'm here Monday through Thursday, 4-10s. Paul is here Tuesday through Friday, and Ron is sticking with his 5-day-a-week schedule. Any questions?
Any questions? Darren? Okay, Adam?
Yeah, so I've been working with the Department of Ecology to provide proof of appropriation of the city's main source of water, Wolf Reed. It's kind of a lot of headache. They're asking for reallocation between 5 different water rights. I won't bore you with the details, but it's the main source of water in Rainier, so you guys are currently using never more than 300 gallons per minute out of Well Creek, and the water rates altogether you have about 425 gallons per minute. So it's continuing to establish additional capacity for future growth and whatnot. More exciting news, I have a schedule for the community park sports course. So the start date as of now is June 17th, and I'm working with them. Should hear back from them tomorrow. Black Hills Excavating. Trying to get them to start earlier, but I want to know how excited you guys are for it, and you would like more summertime to enjoy them. They're going to try to start the first week of June. So I'll know more tomorrow. I'll let Tammy know too. So
That's exciting. Thank you.
Very exciting.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Do they have an end date for when they think?
Yeah, so the end date is the end of August when everything will be wrapped up. They have to work with PSE. I don't think PSE will get in their way, or they won't get in PSE's way, as long as they do their part of the electrical first, and then PSE can come in. So they have to coordinate with PSE, and they have to coordinate with the surfacers. They have the surfacers scheduled as of now, first week of August. So, these are the same guys, by the way, that did the courts in Olympia at Woodruff Park. So if you're ever out there, you want to take a look at what you're going to get. That's it. So,
Good weather in August.
yeah,
Should be fine.
yeah. So I'll keep you updated. And when they establish, when they give me a final schedule, I'll send it to Tammy so she can send it out.
Any questions for Adam?
Yes. Have we gotten any word on when the county can start bathrooms project?
I'm not involved in that. That's something not coordinated.
I don't know. We don't have a start date. Beth has been in contact with the contractor and they're ready to roll. So it should be every day when I come to work, I hope to see equipment there. So I think it's going to be very soon.
Good.
But no, we don't have a hard date.
Any more questions? Captain, back to you.
All right. I kind of said a little bit of it here before. We had about an increase of about 20 calls for service over the last month. Some of those were business checks, some of them were area checks, some of them were suspicious circumstances or suspicious people. I always kind of like it when I see those because that means citizens are keeping their eyes open. When they see something that doesn't look right, they're calling in, which is what we actually want people to do. We did have a little uptick in domestic violence incidents. Again, those aren't things that we can control. They vary. When emotions get involved, things happen. Quite often there are alcohol and or drugs involved in those as well. Not always the case, but they're always very passionate type calls to go on. So that's kind of what was the reason for the increase in the calls for service. We've also had obviously a little bit better weather too, and that always spikes calls a little bit for us. Good news is the motorhome that had been at Minnesota and Seattle is now gone. From the information, it's moving west, and it's out of town and out of Tenino, so it's moving west. Our Sheriff's Office Community Outreach Unit, they provided several different services to the lady there, and it was a combination of that unit and a couple of our deputies, one of them being a traffic deputy, that we were able to kind of get her legal and get her on her way. The homeowner also was a little helpful because he finally hit a point where he was wanting her to be gone, so that it all kind of came together about the same time. We also had another complaint about some mini bikes and go-karts on the roadway. We've talked to a couple of the offending parties, but we have a few more parties to talk to. It's funny, the ones you talk to pointing fingers real fast as to where to go. So they just haven't. They've actually been to the residences a couple times. There's just been nobody home so far. So we'll keep doing that. We're going to start getting into our summer months, which is good and bad. Activity goes up for us. That's the bad part. The good part is our 3 school resource officers come back and get to work regular patrol for a couple of months. And so that, with the hiring that the sheriff's office has been able to do, our staffing is actually starting to climb up. We still have a ways to go, but it's a lot better than where it was a couple, 2-3 months ago, I'll put it that way. So we've got 3 people in field training right now that should all be off close to the end of this month. And we've got some lateral hires that are in the background process. A lateral hire just means they've already been to the academy, they've worked at a prior law enforcement agency, so their field training is considerably shorter. Could be 2 to 4 weeks compared to an entry level coming out of the academy is 3.5 months. So, and so we'll get those bodies on the road. We've had a couple that were out on Washington State Family Medical Leave that have now come back. So again, we're at least starting to see things going in the right direction. So we'll find some wood to knock on, so this will go the other way. So, and that is all I have. Any questions for me?
Just out of curiosity, how far off would you say your department is from what you would consider good staffing or solid numbers?
Well, it's a great question. I'm going to give you the answer. I just want to preface it. I kind of hate telling you where we're at and where we need to be because it will come across a little alarming. In the sheriff's office right now, in the Field Operations Bureau, which is the ones that respond, we have a total of 1 chief, 1 captain, 2 lieutenants, 11 sergeants, and 56 deputies. Okay, that's who provides the 24/7, 365 response. We are currently, as of today, down 18 of those deputy spots. We only have 6 vacancies, which means the other 12 are in the academy, in field training, or they're off on some kind of leave or injury status. So that number's big. If we were in the 50 range, if we were just down 6 not working the road, we would be doing fine. The latter part of this year, due to the passage of the public safety tax, they'll be adding 3 more deputies. These are new positions. 3 deputies in August, 3 in October, and 3 in December. So 9 new by the end of the year. And then during next year, again, they're spaced out, but we'll add 18 more during 2025. And then they will finish off with, I believe it's 6 more in early 26, the first half of 26. Purposely staggered them because, to be honest, our hiring process, as much as we have streamlined it, it is a lengthy process. From the time you take an initial test till you get through the entire process could take 6 months. That's not an uncommon thing for most agencies. So we've been out trying to recruit laterals because, again, that process is considerably quicker. And we can throw them in a car and get them out there working pretty fast.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't ask as any derogatory, I just ask out of curiosity. I live in Eatonville where there's a police force in Eatonville, and I came from Roy where they had their own police force. And I've only been here 5 months, but I see sheriff's deputies in town constantly, and I've had nothing but favorable interactions, and Ron has nothing but favorable things to say. So I just ask out of curiosity's sake, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Where we're headed is we got the county is divided into 5 different patrol areas. They're labeled A through E. You're in the E or Edward district, what we call this, and it covers Rainier and Yelm all the way out Bald Hills. It's about 160 square miles. What our goal is to, at all times, have 2 deputies in every single one of those districts, plus at least 1 supervisor, if not 2, working, covering the whole county. Right now, we're 1 deputy, or excuse me, we're 1 deputy in each district, with a couple of districts having 2 deputies. That's just kind of how it works right now. But as we build up, we get to those 2 in every district. And, for the most part, that's not bad for us. I mean, that would be safe for our deputies, and it is providing more service than what we have been. And to be honest, we're at this point, we're kind of just running call to call to call to call. There's not a lot of proactive law enforcement being done, because you can only do that when you've got the free time to do it. So.
And I understand, departments across the state, if not nation, are struggling for deputies. So.
Yeah, in this state right now, the last number I heard, which was a couple of months ago, we're down about 1,300 police officer positions. These are approved FTEs that they haven't been able to fill. Seattle PD, by the way, has the majority of those. It's there at about 400 vacancies up there, and counting. We just stole one from them, so. We're not above that kind of theft.
Job security.
Job security.
Any more questions? Jim?
Planning department's been taking a lot of phone calls, a lot of inquiries about what they can do on the properties. Can they subdivide? Can they have RV parking, ADUs, the accessory dwelling units? You know, the state government passed a new ADU document, if you will, making it easier to do ADUs. So a lot of people are asking about them. I've kind of mentioned this to you before. What puts Rainier in a little difficult position is we don't have a sewer system. ADUs can be put in most houses or lots when you have a sewer system, easily connected. Here they'd have to have a separate septic system. So it makes it very difficult to have that type of unit here. But I get a lot of calls on it, and subdivisions. We're processing a subdivision on Reflection Lane right now, a 2-lot short plat there. I've had inquiries on 133rd, and actually 2 of them down there, and we have 1 in process now. I also have a boundary line adjustment that we're processing, and a couple other projects just in review. But daily I'm getting 3 to 4 phone calls a day, but people want to know what they can do on the property.
Any questions for Jim? Okay. Dennis?
Attended CRPC, not much going on. This is the time of year when they're doing calls for projects and evaluation of the director and senior staff, so not a lot of business that pertains to us. And we didn't have any projects that we applied for this year, so we're plugging away. Other than that, it's quiet.
Any questions for Dennis? Guess I jump over Shelley. Tom?
Nothing really except, we had our EOC, radio get together on first Saturday or Wednesday, and it all went really well. I do wanna get with the sheriff department and see if there's a way that we could get you involved with our emergency operations center, so we can have contact with you. So maybe we can get together next week or so, discuss that.
Absolutely.
We gotta take it to council when we can, but, other than that, that's about all I've got.
Any questions for Tom? Brian?
I don't have anything to.
Okay. Bill?
Well, I went to the spring convention of Washington State Association of Municipal Attorneys, and I'm happy to report that there isn't any disasters that we really have to deal with, like the legislature quite often sends our way, but it must have been a calm session despite all the yelling and screaming that went on during it. So, yeah,
Good.
we're okay.
That's excellent.
Okay.
Tammy?
You just skipped over yourself.
Well, I'll jump back to me. I'll
Okay.
have the last word.
So just a couple things. We applied for the Port of Olympia grant, which will be $10,000. We've gotten it several years in the past. This year, we applied for it to revamp Wilkowski Park. Maybe last year, the Boy Scouts were in talking about they wanted to do a project to revamp it. And then I didn't hear anything more from them, so I'm guessing those kids probably moved on and it didn't happen. So anyway, we have kind of been talking amongst staff about campsites, fire pits, new paved path, some fencing to kind of keep people from just willy-nilly driving all over. And so obviously it's going to be way more than the 10,000, but the 10,000 will just be for, to get going on it. So Bob actually virtually attended the port meeting last night. So, we don't know for sure that we got it, but generally if we apply, we get it. So there's that. I filed the annual report, so that is great. The comp plan update is in full swing. Emily from Sound something. She's working on it actively, and she just sent me a survey monkey to put on our website, and then some language to put on our next water bill. So please go to the website and take the survey if you feel compelled, and we'll get it on the reader board to let the citizens know about that survey. We have been going through our files. We are kind of following the retention schedule through the Washington State Archives. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to shred 18 boxes of things that we found, some at Public Works, some here in this closet. So we were able to get rid of a lot of documents that are no longer necessary. Thank you, Shelley, for heading that project. Bad news, Beth has put in her notice. She is done as of June 6th. Her dream is to be involved in the medical field, and she has an opportunity to kind of step into that role. So she's leaving us, which is sad news for us. She's been amazing. Shelley has been dealing with, we got a new utility billing upgrade, so same software, new version, and it's been a challenge. And Shelley has been a rock star to figure it out. So lots of training, lots of phone calls, lots of frustrations, but I think we can see light at the end of the tunnel. And we're starting to see the benefits of the new system. At first we're like, okay, this feels like a lot of frustration for not a lot of reward. But I think we're starting to see some reward. So last but not least, Brian. So our current building official is LG. And Brian Von Kluk works for LG. And LG wants to kind of retire and step back from residential stuff. And so he has asked that Brian take over Rainier, basically. If Brian's still going to work for him and be able to refer to him if need be, but for the most part, Brian's going to be our building inspector. So we have a new contract that basically, well, it is the exact same as LG's contract. It just has Brian's name and then new dates of service. The prices don't change, nothing changes. It's just so Brian can bill us directly, not through LG. So if anybody wants to review that, I would be happy to do that, but it is the same as we've approved before. And if nobody has a problem with that, we're gonna go ahead and sign it tonight and get Brian as our building inspector as of June 1st. So, other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Tammy.
I was kind of chit-chatty tonight, wasn't I?
Yeah, that's good. Any questions for Tammy?
I do. Do you by chance have any new information or update on when we're gonna get our signs that the school?
I know that Ron took over the pilings, pillars, but the poles. Ron took those to the school maybe a month ago.
Yeah, at least a month ago.
So I presume that Mr. Liebecker is nearing the end of that project because he asked for those specifically. He called me to ask for them. So he is retiring in June. So I know it'll be before mid-June. So I don't have an exact date though. No, I do not.
But it's closer than it has.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because my neighbors keep asking me where the sign is for the park.
Yes, it'll be up there hopefully early summer.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Tammy? Okay, well, I only had one thing. I attended the online meeting for TPB today, or not today, but last Wednesday, and basically they just approved most of the calls for projects that you had gone through before and stuff, and none of it involved City of Rainier.
Yeah.
So that's all I had. Any questions? Okay, guess we'll move right along. Any new business? Doesn't show any old business? Entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion approved. opportunity.
Thank
30
you.
minutes.